back with another episode of Uncut and Uncorked. We a little late, y'all. We a little late, just a little bit, but we back with another episode. And so I'm gonna do some test checks really quick to make sure we got everything up and running. So give me 1 second as I make sure everything is good. Make sure we live in all the right places. You know what I mean? Okay, I see we live on Facebook. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Let me double check and make sure we live on YouTube. And we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it started here as we got some good conversation today with the amazing Dr. Tristen B Johnson. I just said her government like that, right? I know. I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Let me just make sure we live. Okay, we live on YouTube too. Okay, cool. That's what I want to double check and get out the way. So I see we got one viewer. Shout out to everybody who's viewing. We appreciate you. This is going to be a great episode of Uncut and Uncorked. It's been a while since I did this, so I gotta dust the cobwebs off a little bit. Right, been on a little bit of a hiatus with the podcast, and so I'm happy and I'm back to be doing the podcast Uncut and Uncorked. And again, like I said, we got the amazing Dr. Tristen B Johnson who's going to be joining us today, and she's here to talk about her new book. And for those who don't know, just get it out the way, right? Dr. Tristen B Johnson is my partner, and is the mother of my son as well too. So I'm excited to have this conversation with her about this book. So so we're gonna get into it. As y'all know, for those who are new to the channel, old viewers, new viewers, it's gonna be a great episode. And so the show Uncut and Uncorked, right, is a podcast that I do. Your guy Dwayne, aka Earthlyvine, about wine, right? And so it's about wine and raw and honest conversation. So what I do week to week, I invite new guests on to come talk about whatever it is they got going on, right? Some great conversation, and then we pair that right with some good wine, some great wine. And so with that, I always do. I always kind of explain what wine I'm drinking on, right? And so today's wine, what I'm drinking on, as I'm drinking on a Magic Box, right? And I picked this particular wine because of my particular guest, right? And this one right here is a Pinot Noir 2021, very fierce wine, right? Very bold wine, has a lot of flavor to it, has a lot of swagger to it, right? Nice medium body wine, which is really good. Very good price too. Kind of a little on the expensive side, depending on where your budget's at. I know for my budget, it's a little on the expensive side, for sure. And so, but it's a good wine though. And so it reminds me of my next guest, Dr. Tristen B Johnson, because that's a lot about her too. Very fierce, right? Very, very bold, right? Very educated, very knowledgeable, right? This is a very, old fashioned, as they would say in the wine community. And so that's kind of how Tristen B Johnson is too, right? Very much a trailblazer in what she does. And so I'm excited for my audience to be able to see her, right? To be able to hear about all the great things that she got going on and all the amazing things that she has with this new book, right? She's an author. She is a educator, right? She is a DEI advocate, and she does so much more. And so I'm excited today for us to, have this conversation and really have some good conversation. So I always do this for every episode. So raise your glasses up if you're drinking over there. If you're watching a playback of this and you're drinking some good wine, raise your glasses up. And we're going to take a quick sip and we're going to take a toast for good life, good health, right? And just all around great things. So let's take that toast real quick. Ooh, that's good. That's real good. Okay. All right, here we go. So we're gonna bring Dr. Tristen B Johnson up right now. And if you're viewing, put some stuff in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. I am monitoring the chat. And so if you have any questions for Dr. Johnson too as well, put those in the chat and we can make sure we get to those as well too. So I'm excited. So here we go. Let's bring her up, y'all.
Hello.
All right, Dr. Johnson. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're a little delayed, but that's okay.
Yeah, you're delayed as well.
Okay. Hey, we're gonna make it work though. We
Yeah.
gonna we yeah, that's what we're here for. We're gonna make it work. So yeah, we got you here. We're here to talk about this amazing book you got. But I've done the best I can to try to kind of explain who you are. But I guess if you can to the people, let them know who you are and also what you're drinking on over there as well. So
Okay, perfect. First, I want to say, babe, I can't see the Facebook Live on my end. So, okay. All right, perfect. Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Dr. Tristen B Johnson. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I am one of the authors on the book that is out now, Black History Explorer, My Name, My Power. It is a children's book dedicated to our son. Outside of being an author, I am a curriculum developer. So if you ever need any curriculum design as far as workshops or trainings, I do that. I am a, scholar, if you will. I like to travel, spend time with you and our son. I do a lot of things. I also am a DEI practitioner, diversity, equity, inclusion practitioner. So that is my full time job and what I do as part of my business, the Tristan Johnson LLC. So I'll stop there because I think you just asked me for an introduction, and I'll let you take it over from here.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And like I said, if you can, if like I said, folks who are viewing, if you have questions, put them in the chat. But we are live on your Facebook, by the way, because I can see that we're live on your Facebook. So you all good there.
Okay,
Uh,
perfect.
but yeah, if y'all can put some questions in the chat. I see you sipping. So what you drinking on, if you don't mind me asking? So
So this is a bottle that someone brought to our house last week for a book club and left
yeah.
it. So um, I don't know French, but I think it's Gloire de Chablis.
Okay.
And you can't, I don't know if you can really see it, but it's actually pretty good. It's a white wine.
Okay.
Um, 2021. Let's see what it's, let's see if it has the alcohol concentration on it. It's 14%
Okay.
alcohol concentration. So it's good. So I could say it's not too dry, it's not too sweet. I think it's that medium that you were describing, the red, and
Okay.
but you can really taste the fruit flavor. So I'm trying to act like I'm a wine connoisseur like you, but there we are.
Okay. No, hey, listen. It sounds like it's good. If you can, let me know so I could taste it as well too.
Yes.
But yeah, no. Well, again, thank you for joining the show. We definitely appreciate you joining the show, and we're gonna go ahead and get started with some questions, right? Because you have an amazing book out. Well, you and our son have an amazing book out, which is called My Name and Our Power, and it's a really good book, y'all. Definitely check it out. If you want, you can get it on Amazon. You can just type in My Name and Our Power, and it should come up. But you can also get it on the THE Tristen Johnson LLC.com. You can get it there as well too. I'll also have the link in here towards the end of this video, so that way you can see it and you can go ahead and get the book. But first and foremost, just want to say, I was one of the first to hear about the book, so I'm honored that I was able to, to hear the title and all the things about it. And I watched you on the journey of creating this book, and it was an amazing journey to watch. And along with that, wanted to ask you, you are a writer, right? So I wanted to first start from the beginning, like where did your love for writing start? Because I know that's not the only piece of writing you have out there, right? You have other forms of writing that have been published. You have other pieces of writing that haven't been published. So with that, where did your love for writing start, and also the arts too, right? Because a part of this children book, there's a lot of pieces of art in there too. So I guess for the arts and writing, kind of where did that begin for Dr. Johnson?
Yeah. So let my dad tell it. Let my mom tell it. I've been writing since I was a little girl.
Okay.
Uh, I used to write very short stories. I had a very active imagination. I used to win young authors contests in primary school.
Yeah.
It seemed like I guess every time I entered it, I won, but not. I guess is a big flex. I need to start owning the great things that I do. I used to win all because I was the best
Yeah.
at writing short stories,
Yeah.
and I just always found I don't know. I guess I always found my voice in writing,
Okay.
in some ways,
Okay.
and it was fun. I was good at it. I didn't. It wasn't something that someone needed to teach me how to do when it came to being creative or telling a story. Now, it's easy for me to write for fun. Like I find writing stories for fun just easy. I don't really have to put much thought into it. I can just really free flow and write, and I can have a really good product at the end. And take this book for example. I wrote this book in 2 hours. I literally sat down and I just started typing.
She not lying, y'all. She really did.
I just sat down and started typing. Now, writing has also come into my life academically. Writing is very different. Writing academically versus being able to write how I want in my voice. I mean, I still can write in my voice academically, but there's a lot of rules you have to follow. Um, when you write academically, of course, that are rooted in whiteness and but you being an academic writer, I've been able to insert my voice in various ways. There's still guidelines you still got to follow, APA format and
Yeah.
that and the other, and it's still a lot of boundaries. I will say that you have to stay within when you academically write. In my opinion, that's not everybody else's
Yeah.
opinion,
For sure. For sure.
but that is Tristan's opinion. But when I can free write, whether it's a story, I used to have a blog. I used to run a whole blog website.
Yeah.
And I could write freely. It was just freeing. So
Okay.
that is, kind of where my journey started. And of course, I'll talk a little bit more about it once we get deeper into the conversation. But it's just always been something that's natural to me.
Mm.
Writing has also been challenging as
Yeah.
well. I know after I wrote my dissertation, I kind of didn't want to write anymore
Okay.
because it was just a lot of restrictive writing and people critiquing and editing this, or oh, this wasn't good enough, you need to do this. And it was just very taxing on my creative gene, if you will. So I stopped writing for a while. And then um, what did I do after that? I did write a couple articles, I think, and part of my job in my business, like I said, I write curriculum and stuff. So I guess I wasn't not. I guess I didn't stop writing, but I stopped writing and freely, if you will. I
Yeah.
stopped storytelling. I was just writing to produce. I wasn't writing for fun.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll stop there.
Okay. No, no, I appreciate that. Again, a lot of that I already know, but I think it's good for the audience to know to kind of see where that comes from and where your love for writing and the arts comes from. Um, yeah, and one of the things I want to share too that of course I read the book, right? Being one of the first to know about the book, I was also one of the first to read the book, and the book has a lot to do with part of my family, right? So for those who don't know, my well, actually our son Dwayne Trent Anderson is named after me, and then also named after Dr. Johnson's father. And so when we were going about having our son and kind of thinking of a name for him, I always knew I wanted my son, at least my first son, to be named after me, right? Because I'm named after my father, Dwayne Anderson, who has a name, and I'm damn proud to be named after my father, right? And also me and many of my brothers and uncles, and we all have the same name, Dwayne Anderson, right? And so for me, the name, I know where it comes from, right? I know where it comes from. I know how it came, all of those great things. I know the history of all of it, how it came, all those great things. But I still wanted my son. There's just something powerful about keeping a name going on in a family. And so with that, I wanted to keep that going, but I also wanted to incorporate. I told Tristan, I was like, I want him to have your father's name as well too. Like that was one of the things that was big on my heart. I wanted him to have that. And so her dad's name is Trent, and so because of that, his name is Dwayne Trent Anderson. So he has parts of he has a lot of us, right, in terms of his name, but he also has a part of his grandfather that he'll forever have in his name as well too. So that's the beauty of his name, right, and how it came about. And I think that's what kind of inspired you to write this story as well too, because the book tells the story about all of that, right? It has those deep conversations. So I want to ask you, right, why do you believe it was important to write a children's book about where, I guess, allowing children to like freely love their names, right? Because a lot of children don't even know where their names come from. They get their names, we call them these names, they grow up, and then around their later teen years is when they find out what their name really means. So why was it important for you, for a children's book to start? Because I noticed it's a series to start with educating our son on his name. Like why? Like why was that important for you?
Yeah, so let's kind of start on the macro level. So the macro is what is happening in society.
Yeah.
So society, um, there's been multiple states that have passed laws banning education about Black history, banning Black people, conversations about critical race theory. When we have all these politicians who don't really know what critical race theory is in the first place, and so that's the larger context. And you even have states like Florida saying that slavery had so many benefits for Black people,
Yeah.
and based and not telling the truth about what actually happened in our country. So, because these laws and things are being passed, books are being banned, especially in K through 12. We've seen higher education be impacted
Yeah.
as well. And yeah, basically just saying that we don't belong. I mean, we've known this forever.
Yeah.
And so, in the macro level, when you think about how the implications of slavery still show up in our daily lives, in terms of racism, and how um, the world treats us,
Yeah.
how even Black folks internalize racism, um, especially when we think about our names.
Mm,
And so that is why, so that's the macro level. When we were brought here, our cultures were taken from us, our names were taken from us, our families were taken from us, and we were unable to build those connections until we all came together on the plantation, and we built communities, and we were strong, and we were together. Um, and so after emancipation, and we had the freedom to claim who we are,
yeah.
and create a culture, the Black culture as we know it, Black American culture as we know it, after emancipation is what our ancestors created. And so they took on new names, they kept names that enslavers gave them.
Yep.
And you think about on a historical level, think about our family lines, right? You're named after multiple people. My dad named my brother and me versions of his name, right? Like, so our families have been doing this for a generation. If you think about my dad's side of the family, I have two uncles named John. One name is Big Son, one name is Little Son. Like, we, you know what I'm saying, like, we've been doing this for years. You can trace our family history back. We're named after different people in our family to continue our lineage.
Yeah.
So if you think about it on a micro level, on an individual level, understanding where you come from and feeling connected, like, brings this feeling of kinship. Like, you are connected to your family, even if even if you're named after somebody in your family and you don't really mess with them and they've done you wrong. Um, you might have a different connection to your name. You might disassociate from your name because of those broken familiar ties though. But you still have this idea of where you come from, so you know where you can go, you know where
Yep.
you're headed.
Yep.
um so it's important for kids to know that you have power. And Black people, we name our children very unique things,
Yeah.
and people treat you by just even looking at your name, thinking
Yeah.
about resumes, or you got a student coming into the classroom who maybe have a name that you might struggle pronouncing, so you take it upon yourself to call them something else because you can't pronounce it. You're taking away that power from that individual. They are a person. So I wanted children to love who they are, love their name, make people pronounce your name. And I'll say a couple more things, and I'll stop on my tangent because I know
No,
you
no,
got.
you're good. You're good.
One of my former students, I used to work in higher education. One of my former students sent me a DM on Instagram today and was like, basically she's happy that I wrote a book like this because when I was her supervisor, and when I worked in higher education, she had a name that people could not pronounce, and people would just call her a nickname all of the time, and she just kind of let it happen. So I started calling her by. I asked her how to pronounce her first name, and every time I saw her, I would pronounce her first name correctly.
I love that.
And
Love
and
that.
and I would tell her, like, own your name. Like, people are only calling you this nickname because they aren't making the effort to really get to know you, and they're making it easier on themselves.
Yeah.
So um, I said that, and then lastly. I thought this was important because of my personal connection again with my name. So not only is our son named after my dad, like I was very, I always say if I ever had a son, I want him to have Trent in there somewhere. But my name and my brother's name are all adaptations of my dad's name, like I said at the beginning. So you take the I and the S out of my name, you get Trent. My middle name Brene is a play off of Bernard, my dad's middle name. My brother's middle name, Brent, is a play off of Trent, right? So he found ways to incorporate his legacy into me and my brother.
Mm,
So I want our son to know that he comes from greatness and power. And I want other kids to know that you come from greatness and power, and your name is important. Think about how many names we know. Oh my God, babe, I'm about to get dark because I always get dark real quick and then bring it back to the light. So think about how many now, um, how our lives would be seen if people knew our names and understood our humanity. Think
yeah,
about all the times we've been up against um, oppressive and racist forces that don't treat us like people and don't even want to say our name. Um, but our names are part of our humanity, they are part of our legacy, they are part of
for sure.
who we are, and
Mhm.
it's so important.
Yeah, no, that was no, that was great. That you said a lot in there that really I guess stuck with me and kind of I think people can learn from a lot because yes, our names do come from such hatred, right? They come from such disrespect, but at the same time, we've now taken those names and we've transformed those names into something powerful, right? We took those names and transformed them into, and now we have ownership over that and kind of how we do that, and so and kind of how we want our names to live on and how we empower our names and all that thing. So something so treacherous, something so negative, something so everything you described, and now we take that and we turn that into our power, and that's why I love the title "My Name, Our Power" because we took power back in our names, right? And I think that's the beautiful thing. Something that wasn't ours, that was taken away, and we were forced to take on. We took that and we essentially made it our power. So that's beautiful. I want to also acknowledge Angel in the chat. Angels in the chat said, "Tristen, you looking great." Janae Johnson with the I believe the heart face. So thank you for that, and thank you for you all for tuning in. So I wanna kind of dive a little bit deeper into the book a little bit, right? And so I want to talk about the illustration of the book, right? It's
Yeah.
beautifully illustrated, right? The pictures are amazing. They I guess for those who haven't seen the book yet, the pictures are basically of myself, Tristan, and Peanut, our son. That's his nickname, Peanut. And Peanut's he's a little older, right? He's not a baby how he is no more. He's almost 7 months right now. But but we're beautifully depicted, right? And I always say it's hard to illustrate or to draw black characters, but this was an amazing illustration, an amazing drawing, and just a way to capture our family so beautifully. So I want to talk about the importance of the illustration here, right? Because with any good children's book, of course, there's the content, there's the words, right? But you also got to be able to capture some great images that really draw people to the book. So I guess tell me about a little bit about that, like that journey and what that was like, and why did you go with the current direction you're in now when it comes to the book and it comes to the images? So
Absolutely. So when I first wrote the book, I was like, okay, like how am I gonna find an illustrator? So I asked a few of my friends who have published before. Shout out to Tempest, Natalie, Jamal. Those are Takita. Just some of the people who I tapped into about just writing in general, but definitely Natalie, Jamal, Tempest. So I gave me all the tips on where to go for self-publishing and all that type of stuff. So I think Natalie, I can't remember, but I think it was my sorority sister and friend Natalie
okay,
told me about this website called Upwork. So it's just like a Fiverr or things like that where you can go and hire freelancers
yep,
to create work for you. So I went on Upwork. I put out a post saying looking for illustrator for African American children's book.
hmm
Um, Side note, I specifically put African American because a lot of the people on the Upwork site might not be US based.
okay,
And so I normally call people from the African diaspora Black people.
for sure.
I don't necessarily say African American specifically because there might be some Black people in America who do not identify as African American. So I
Mhm.
just say Black. So, but I had to put African American children's illustrator, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people applied, and I chatted with a few people, and I found Sabrina. And Sabrina, my author, Sabrina Rusu, she lives in Romania. So she's this white girl from Romania, but her illustration portfolio was very beautiful. It was very professional, and also she was in my budget. I was telling my friends on another interview earlier this week that I was also looking for budget, but I really wanted to hire a Black person.
Mm,
It didn't matter the gender identity or affiliation. I knew I wanted them to be Black, and all of the Black people who applied or I found, they were just way above my budget. So Sabrina was right where I needed to be, and it worked out perfectly. Sabrina, she again is from Romania, so she really doesn't have an idea of Black American culture. I mean, she's of course seen Black people
yeah,
before. She's never been to the U.S., but she doesn't really have an idea. So I gave her my storyboard, if you will, which is just the book. And I told her ideas of pictures and colors that I wanted. And she brought me back a rough draft. I wasn't really feeling the character of Peanut because I think she just brought me a rough draft of Peanut at first.
mm,
And I wasn't really feeling it. I think I showed you the rough draft as well.
yeah,
And I was just like, we weren't really feeling it. So I went back to her and I said, hey, maybe try to do some research on Black American children's books or watch some cartoons that are about Black people. And so I was like, watch The Proud Family or here's some like books to look at because Black people, we are bold and beautiful and our features are unique and so fabulous and often duplicated, but not the real, you know what I'm saying? Often duplicated. So, and I gave her that direction when she came back with the second draft of Peanut. It blew my mind, and I said, "This is the quality of work." I said, "So I'm about to send you some more pictures of myself, my partner, my dad, his brothers, etc. And I want you to create, these people into caricatures." And she just knocked my socks off. I told her I wanted earth tone colors in the book, but I wanted the colors to be bold because, again, I told her that Blackness means bold and very colorful and flamboyant and all of the other adjectives you could think of to describe Black people. So, um, yes, that
yeah.
is how the illustrations came.
No, that's beautiful. And again, I know all this, right? But just, want to give the people a chance to really hear that story and kind of how, it came about. I think it's beautiful that in that moment there was education, right? I think, you educated her because like I said, it's hard, right, to illustrate black people or just people of color in general. But I'm super happy that, you were able to educate her and you were able to find someone. And the illustration is beautiful, y'all. Like it really captures our family. It really captures Peanut. It really captures blackness, authentic blackness. Um, yeah, it's just beautiful. So definitely check it out. Again, I got the website up here, the TristanJohnsonLLC.com. That's where you can get the book. Yeah, so it's exciting. But one thing I do know is that this is a series, right? So this is not where it ends. It doesn't start and end here, right? It's going to keep going. So I want, if you can, kind of talk a little bit about, right? We talk a little bit about this book, but talk about like the series you plan to kind of keep going after this book. Like what are some ideas you have down? Do you have books already in the works? Like what is the next step within this series? And I guess even 2 to 3 books down the line, like what's your plan when it comes to this series? So yeah.
Yeah, so the plan that's at the forefront right now is Sabrina will continue to be my illustrator.
Hey,
uh,
shout out to Sabrina. Okay,
yeah,
shout out to Sabrina.
that is the number one thing because she delivers great quality. I want all of my books to have this
Yeah.
same level of fire
Mhm.
going forward.
Yeah.
So, um, well, the premise of the main character is our son Peanut. Peanut is about 7 or 8 in the book. He's 8 years old. He is 7 months old right now. But so the premise is that Peanut loves exploring Black history.
Yeah.
So this first book, he's exploring how he got his name, how Black people in the U.S. got their names, and so the next book is not written, but I have so many ideas on what he's going to explore next, and he's not always going to be talking to his parents about it. He's going to be talking to different people within the Black community. He's going to be doing his own research um, and just the different stories that I have planned. So stay tuned. I don't want to reveal too much right now, but
Yeah.
as I'm working on the books, I will probably begin to share about them because I'm going on another tangent. So I saw this meme or this tweet the other day and it was like, or did one of my friends say it? I don't remember, but I
Okay.
saw it somewhere on social media and
Okay.
it said that we are in a culture that is so gun ho on like moving in silence and like um popping out on the come up and just
Yeah.
very to ourselves, and it's almost like this like crabs in a barrel mentality, or like, and this embarrassment of like I don't want to see people. I don't want people to see me like struggling or like not having all my ideas out, or like, so we hide a lot of things. And I found that I even did that a little bit with this book. Like I only told people that were like super super close to me in my circle that I was writing a children's book,
Okay.
and I tried to keep it under wraps for so long. And I'm like, why do we do this? So I think for the next book, like when I start writing, I'm gonna be talking about my process. And I realized that I could be helping somebody else. Again, I named some of those folks who helped me on this publishing journey. Like I could be helpful to someone else who might be interested in writing a children's book. So I think I'm going to talk about my struggles. I'm going to talk about my triumphs that I've gotten through. I'm going to share how I found an illustrator. I'm going to share how I went through getting the copyright process and blah blah blah. I think that's important. I think we need to be figuring out how to be in community more
Mhm.
when we're in these processes, because I mean it's enough room out here for us all to eat.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's very true, which is great. And so again, shout out to everyone that's in here. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We're gonna get to the Q&A session in a little bit, but just want to kind of throw that caveat out there so we can start getting those questions flowing right now. But yeah, so no, this interview's been great, and we've been chatting about a lot, right? One of the things I also wanted to ask is, right, you're a mother, right, and you make that you post pictures with our son, like people know that you're a mother, which is beautiful in my eyes. And so with that, like talk about the journey you took writing this book, right? Like what was it like? Like did you have like what was the journey like with Peanut? What was the journey like with yourself? Was there self reflection you had to do even like in kind of to even start this book? What was those conversations like with your father? What were those conversations like even with me? Right? Like what was the journey like going down this book? Because I always notice like when I'm creating, right, I always have to there's always a journey in that creation, right? And it's always not good, right? So if you're writing a book about your name, you have to face the reality of like, okay, this is where my name came from. Which some people can take that totally different. Some people could take it one way, some people could take it another. There's many ways that we can take it. So with all of that, right? There's a journey and everything. So what was the journey like for you as you were creating this book? Whether that was again yourself, your son, your father, me, my father. Like what was that journey like? So.
What was the journey like? I think the journey started before I had Peanut.
Okay.
And I say this because before you have a kid, you're not thinking about a kid's future. You are thinking about your own because you
Hello.
are you are only thinking about yourself.
Yeah,
So
hello. That's very true.
then Peanut gets here and I'm like freaking out. Like I need to have something to leave my son. Like
Yeah.
I want to leave him a legacy. I want him to be proud of something. I want him to be proud of me as his mom. And so that was kind of part of it.
Mm.
Um, Wanting to leave him something. So I think when the day I sat down writing, something like pissed me off at work. Something pissed me off at work. And typically when I get mad or when I get like I don't know. I don't really want to say what happened at work, but
At the
when I
place
get
you
mad,
be at.
huh?
I said we're just gonna call it the place you be at.
Yeah. I don't want to say what happened, but um I turned my fuel into writing.
Yeah.
I I think at the end of the day, I turned to my personal laptop and I was like, okay, this cannot be what it is right now for the long term. How can I think about long term for my son? Because I really need to get my butt in motion. And I'm like, I'm gonna write him a book. And
Mm.
that's exactly what I said. And I opened up a Google Doc and
All right.
I put the two of the things I love most down on paper, Black history and our son. So I said, how can I combine the two? And then I said, oh, I'm gonna make Peanut explore his name. And as soon as I said that, I started typing. And I kept typing. I did some editing. 2 hours later, I was done. And I'm like, babe, come read this book. Come read what I just wrote. And I said, I think I'm gonna do this. Um, my dad, my parents have always told me that I should have been a author growing up. I mean, I was an author, right? I won young author contest, but I never took it at that. Okay, this is something I was going to do long term as far as like being a book author.
Yeah.
I wanted to write for the newspaper. I wanted to be a journalist, like that type of writing, but they always said like I should have took my creative writing forward.
Mm.
And so I said, what better time than now to do this? And I wrote the book and I sent a draft to again some people that I trusted the most. And I said, what do y'all think about this? I called my parents. I read the book to them over the phone.
Mhm.
And before I even had pictures, and they were like, this is great. Like, it's so relatable. Like you can hear a kid reading this book. So really that was my journey. Just thinking about what I wanted to leave baby Dwayne. What did I wanted to leave my little booty bop?
No, I love that. I love that, and I love that, and I love the fact that family was involved in that process, which is beautiful as well. So, um, one of the things too, I would love to touch on is right being a mother and watching you being mother, and being a mother to her son is absolutely amazing. But what do you want other mothers to get from this book when they're reading it to their kids, right? Like, or even fathers, right? Parents in general, right? We don't have to put gender on it. But what do you want parents, guardians to get when they're reading this book to their children? Like, what energy do you want the children to feel? Like, what message do you want it to convey to the children? Like, if I'm reading this book, right, to a child at a school or something like that, right? Like, what message do you want to come like? Do you want to come across in the forefront when reading this book?
I want them to feel a sense of kinship, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's gonna be my key word because yeah, it's kinship. Like I really want people to feel connected to themselves, connected to their family members, and I'm hoping that when
Okay.
parents are reading this to their kids, they'll start having conversations about their names. They'll start opening up about family that they may have stories about, or family members that the kids have never heard of, and sharing that part of their history with them. You have to know where you come from to know where you're going. You have to know the power that your family has in your life,
Yeah.
um, but also understand that your power isn't just rooted in you.
Yeah.
You, you come from greatness. You come from people who had to experience probably some of the most excruciating parts of humanity, and the ones who survived through it, the ones who didn't survive through it, got you here.
Yeah.
And so I want you to find joy in that. I want you to find peace in knowing that you are probably living out your ancestors' wildest dreams, just being able to live on your own terms.
Yeah. Yep.
And I hope that the joy our ancestors were able to create, even in the midst of um, oppressive environments, because they did find joy. You had to find joy. That's why we laugh in the face of trauma most of the time. Like we make a joke out of everything. That's ancestral. So
Yep.
I hope that the pieces of joy that our ancestors were able to have, the joy that they probably kept in their heart to know that this wouldn't be the conditions of their descendants for their entire lives. I want us to embody that joy and take that joy and go out into the world
Mm, I love that.
and spread that.
Mm, I love that. I love that. So kinship and spreading that joy. Uh, yeah, no, which is amazing, and I think people will get that when they read the book, right? So again, if you haven't pre-ordered the book, make sure you do that. It is here, right at the
And get it on Amazon.
and you can get it on Amazon, but try to get it here at the TristanJohnsonLLC.com. But you can get it on Amazon too. Amazon might be a little quicker too if you want to get it on Amazon. So yeah. But no, this has been great, right? This interview has been great. And so the last question I'll ask you, right, to kind of wrap it up, then we'll get to a little fun after that, and we'll kind of lighten the mood up. But what what advice would you give to any young writer, right? Particularly young Black women who are looking to write, but any young Black writer who are looking to write, any elder Black writer, seasoned writer, middle aged, whoever, writers in general, what advice would you give to writers out there who are looking to write a children's book or any kind of book right now?
I think advice is to keep writing.
Mm, I love that.
And I say that as someone who has taken multiple breaks from writing, and it's needed. I think breaks are part of the writing process. So I would
Yeah.
say that I kept writing even when I was on a break.
Yeah.
But keep writing. Let your voice be heard. You have something to say, put it down.
Yeah.
Um, and it doesn't even have to be a children's book. If you're just writing because you are feeling down, write when you feel joy.
Mhm.
Write what you're thankful about in your note section or a notebook if you have it. Just write, and write because you want to, not because somebody's telling you to.
Yeah.
Write your heart.
Mm.
If you are on an educational journey and you're writing a thesis or dissertation, write about the topic that you want to write about. Don't write what you think your advisor wants to hear or somebody else wants to hear. What do you want to write about?
Mhm.
I think that helps bring some of the joy into writing, is writing about something that you care about. So I would just say keep writing. Um, I highly recommend self-publishing,
Yeah.
especially when you think about legacy. Um, my academic book I have out is published by an actual publishing company. It's great because they can get it out to more people. However, I don't see any return on investment from that artwork that I put together, that my
Yeah.
authors put together for this book, unless people get the book and cite us. Like, that's a return on investment. But as far as like all the tears and effort we put into this book,
Yeah.
nobody in the book is seeing any revenue from it. But when you self-publish, you get royalties. Now, of course, if you self-publish on Amazon, like I did, of course, capitalism, they're gonna take their cut off the top. But
Mhm.
that book is still yours. Like, you still own that. You own the copyright to that book. So anybody who wants to reproduce it or use it, they got to reach out to you. They
Yeah.
have to ask you for permission to to use your stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and um, when I'm gone, that book will still be here.
Yep.
Peanut Peanut will still be here, and he'll get to decide who gets to do what with the book. He'll get
Uh-huh.
to decide what's next. And if Peanut decides, him and whoever his future partner will be, that they want to have children, then they will get to decide what happens. So that's legacy. That is something that cannot be taken. So self-publish.
Self-published. Okay, I love that. Yeah. And I know the journey you had with your first book in publishing and now self-publishing. So I know that is a big one. So if you don't take anything away from it, self-publish, folks, who for those who are writing. So but no, this has been great. I really want to thank you for this conversation because I think it's needed. I think, Black history is American history personally to me, right? And I think that this is a big part of our history, right? And I think that this tells a really good story about our history when it comes to our names. And I'm
Mhm.
honored that to take that journey with you, and I'm honored that our son got to tell that story using your words. But I'm glad that our son got to tell that story. So, if you have questions, this is a great time to put them in the chat now, folks. I see we got a few viewers on here, so if you can throw some questions in the chat, I would love to ask them to Dr. Johnson. I think it would be great to pick her brain on whatever questions you have. But while y'all put them questions in the chat, we got a little game we gonna play. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna play a little game, let's something here, which I think is fun. And so it's a quick game, right? It's called this or that. So I'm gonna basically give you two topics, right? And or I guess two answers, and you got to basically choose one, right? Um, and if you can't pick one, you can pick both, right? This ain't drink champs. We ain't gonna make you drink if you can't pick them, right? We ain't gonna do that. So essentially, what you're gonna do is I'm gonna give you two. You got to pick. If you can't, if you want to pick both, you go with both. Then and then folks in the audience and in the chat, y'all are more than welcome to also put your answers to these questions as well. And I know her very well, so a lot of these questions are intentional that I'm going to ask, and I'm going to give her a little hesitation when it comes to answering these questions. So first question is, we're gonna start it off. We're gonna start it off very uh we're gonna get to it, right? And so first question is Drake or Chris Brown?
LOL. In terms of what, music,
Whatever you want it to be.
artistry.
Whatever you want it to be. You
Um,
pick. These are her two favorite artists, by the way. That's how I know that.
so I wish you would have said one of them and Beyonce. That would have been an easy one.
Oh, can't do that.
But I think I'm having a difficulty picking because I enjoy both of their music so much,
Okay.
and both of them bring different crafts to hip. I'll say hip hop, rap, and R&B. I know how you feel about singing Drake, but even though people have various opinions about Drake singing, the things he can do musically, I think is very admirable. So I don't know. I'll say Drake in in terms of, well, they both write for other artists. I'm just gonna say Drake.
You want to say, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting that. That's cool. Okay. Uh, again, if you have questions, throw them in the chat. It would be a good time to ask them. Janae said Chris Brown, so
I know, Janae, it's hard
she's
because
going to the opposite of you. So
and I've been a fan of Chris Brown's music before
yeah,
Drake. We're the same age, so it's kind of like, I don't know, but I would say Drake just off the strength of um, just what he can do all around. I don't know.
no, that makes sense. Okay, no, that's makes it okay. Wine or I guess liquor. Wine,
Wine,
and what kind of wine? Red, white.
red.
Okay, okay. Cool. Red wine.
However, oh my
Okay,
gosh, I don't have my nails done, so it'd be stressing me out every time I see my hands in the camera. Okay,
okay,
however, the white wines we had in Italy were phenomenal. They
okay.
were so crisp,
Yeah.
and it really, I like white wine, but the wine it like really changed my perception of wine
Okay.
of white
Okay. No, I got okay. I love it. I love it. Okay. Neo soul or R&B?
R&B, specifically 90s R&B.
Okay. Got you. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Janae said wine. So she with you on that one. So she got
Yes.
you on that one, which is good. So uh no, that's beautiful. Okay. Cool. Books or TV?
So that is also hard, but I'll say books, um, because there's just so much more depth you can get in books than just from TV. Like even if you think about like movies that have been made based on books, there's so much stuff they have to leave out of the movie that was in the book. You need to go read the book to see all the
Yeah.
good stuff. So, um, but when I need an escape, I could binge watch a show with no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, no, that makes sense. Janae said neo soul, and she also said books too. So I'm with you on the neo soul. Neo soul is my. I mean, Tristan knows that. That's my vibe. So
Yes.
love me some good neo soul, which is good. So okay, that's good. That's good. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. If you have questions, put them in the chat. I'm not seeing any questions though in the chat about that. But one of the things I guess a question that I have for you outside of kind of what we talked about is what is it I guess what has it been like being a mom, right? Like this is your first child, right? And so um, he's almost 7 months now. So what has it been like for you on the journey of motherhood? Like what, like I guess, what has that journey been like for you?
I love being Peanut's mom.
Yeah, and he loves
Uh, I love being Peanut's mom, and um it's also hard because I'm always worried. My mind's always racing because I'm just like, okay, Peanut's got to do this. We got to go here. Is he's asleep? Is he breathing? Um, we got to do this for him. He needs these things. He's growing, so he needs this.
yeah,
And what's going to happen when he goes to daycare? What's going to happen when he goes to school? What's going to happen when he like starts driving? Like I'm thinking about all these things that haven't happened yet. So that is the part of motherhood I don't like is
yeah,
always worrying. Because I'm a worrier about everything. And so now that I have a tiny human to worry about, that is something that's always on my mind. Every single decision is like Peanut impacts that decision.
yeah.
So, but Peanut, like he is, I don't know, he is the best parts of me and you.
Hmm.
He is the best parts of me and you. He is funny. He is he's sad when he needs to be, but he's not sad so much. He's
Yeah,
calm. He's beautiful. Um, he's perfect, and I love him.
beautiful.
I can't describe it. Um, I think part of motherhood I didn't really expect was to how much I was gonna love someone outside of like like romantic love or like the love you have for your own parents. Like loving your child feels very different.
Yeah, no, it does, it does, and so I agree 100%. Shout out to K RAJ is in the building. She said, "Hey sis,"
That's my
and
soul.
she said that never goes away, even when they are grown. Your life is now his. So such a beautiful message. I agree 100%. Um, but yes, we are kind of at the end of this interview, and so if you have any last minute questions, please put them in the chat. But Dr. Johnson, just want to thank you for coming on this platform and talking about your book and all the great things you got going on. It's won't be the last time y'all gonna see her on here, folks. She's gonna be back on, of course. But really, just want to thank you for this interview. And if y'all do got a glass, y'all know for those who are new viewers to the show, for those who are old viewers to the show, right when it used to happen, y'all know before we depart, we got to put those glasses in the air, right? You got to. Y'all see mine is a little low. I've been drinking over here, okay? But yeah, so you got to put those glasses in the air, and we're gonna do a toast for Dr. Tristen B. Johnson and all of her hard work and this book that she has going on, and her being an amazing mom, her being a dope mom, her being a dope leader, everything. So we're gonna raise a glass to you. We're gonna cheers to you, and we're gonna drink to you. So yes, cheers. Mm. We're gonna go ahead and finish that off right there. That was good. All right. Well, y'all, we back again next week. I got another guest. Y'all gotta follow me though on my Instagram at Earthlyvine. That's how y'all gonna find out who the next guest is, right? That's a trick. That's like, you see what I'm trying to do here? I ain't gonna announce it on here so y'all can go follow me and figure out who it is. You see what I'm trying to do? No, I'm just joking. But listen, yeah, follow me on Instagram at Earthlyvine. I do go live on my Facebook too. So Dwayne C. Anderson on Facebook, and then also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Uncut and Uncorked. Please subscribe, y'all. I definitely need those subscribers. We'd love for y'all to tune in. And again, get the book, buy the book, the Tristen Johnson LLC.com. She got another book on there too. If you're in education and into feminism and black feminism, all those great things, you can buy. You can also buy her other book there as well too. But yeah, so with that being said, thank you so much again, Dr. Johnson. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for everyone who was tuning in. We had a lot of people in here who tuned in, so I really do appreciate y'all. And yeah, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. And we are out of here. So
Yay. Thanks everybody. And thanks Aurora. I see that you said you pre-ordered. So thank you.
yeah,
And can I just say one more thing, babe? After y'all
yeah,
get y'all book, Whether you pre-order it or if you go on Amazon right now to get it, please leave a review on Amazon. That helps people find my book more as well. And please ensure that you share it. And I know y'all got some kids, or know some people who got some kids, so share it with them. Get it for a good baby shower gift as well. So
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Y'all heard her. Get the book, buy it. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all, and y'all have a beautiful weekend. We out of here.